Harrow County is an 8-part comic book series written by Cullen Bunn. It is sort of the right time of year to talk about this series because it deals with witches and supernatural elements in the sort of American rural past. I can't remember entirely from the series, so I should look this up. But it's sort of set around the 1920s, 1930s in rural America, and it centres around a character called Emmy, who is a young girl living on a farm with her father, and she's sort of very caring, very kind, well brought up. But then one day she discovers that she is the reincarnation of a local witch, and the local residents try and kill her. What you then find out is that actually these residents, they're all actually people, or yeah, they are people that were given life and created by Emmy in order to sort of look after her and do her bidding. But because they've got free will, they turn against her. That gets resolved, and Emmy is left to live her life with her father, and she tries to do good with her abilities and her powers. All throughout the local area, and in particular the local woods, there are what they call haints, H-A-I-N-T-S, haints, but they're sort of like spirits and supernatural forces that she can communicate with and that communicate with her. Some are good, some are bad, some she has to talk around and convince. She finds out that she's actually got a twin sister who's in the city, who's evil. There's a whole family of supernatural witches and beings that she comes from. She has a familiar in the form of a skinless boy, so there's like his skin that moves around and talks to her, and actually the boy without any skin, his body with all his muscles showing, he sort of lurks around and feeds her information, and that's his familiar, a bit like Salem the cat is to Sabrina. And you find out about other sort of friends and relatives throughout, and she has to go up against them and find her way in the world. Try not to spoil it too much because it's a lovely series. Because you know you've got to start and end to this series, I think it's a great one to look into, particularly if you like spooky stuff or supernatural stuff. Initially the art style, when I saw it, I thought I wouldn't like it, but it really grows on you. It's this sort of painted style that initially looks sort of wishy-washy, ethereal, but when you get into it, it really plays well with the themes and the type of story that they're telling. It's written really well too. There's not an overabundance of exposition or text on there. You know, your imagination is left to play a little with some of the things, but it just marries up so well with the images you've got, which obviously when you're talking about comics and graphic novels is a key element. Otherwise you just read a book or you just have a film. It's obviously prime for a TV adaptation or a film series to be made about it, because it's that sort of spooky and dark, and I just think people would love it. It's really worth picking up to read. I've only read it digitally, so I can't speak to the quality of any sort of print copies. It's from Dark Horse, so it could be a sort of mixed bag as to whether it's good quality or not. I've had some good, well-bound Dark Horse comics, and I've had some terrible ones. So you know, I can't say what it'll be like. But digitally it's quite cheap to pick up. At the moment you can get them on Comixology for $2.99 a volume. So the whole series you could probably get for, do me maths now, yeah, less than 30 quid. And it's worth just getting them all while they're cheap, particularly if you want to have the sort of comfort that you can just plough through this story or have it at your fingertips as and when you want to read it. Really recommend it to anyone that enjoys sort of horror comics, supernatural things that aren't about heroes bashing each other about. Yeah, Harrow County. It was a pleasant surprise for me, and I'm sure it'll be a pleasant surprise for other people. If you've got your own views on it, or there's sort of other references or things in it that I've missed or that I'm just not aware of, then please comment and let me know. I'll be really interested in that. Or even if you know if there's a sort of film or TV adaptation on the way, that'd be interesting to know as well. Otherwise, please feel free to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.